All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving into something really mind-bending. Quantum love.
Sounds intense.
It is. You know, you guys sent us this incredible song, Quantum Love, by GN.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Plus, we've got this radio show where they're talking about it, and even some of Gina's own thoughts. So basically, we're going to see if love can actually break free from time and space, just like the song says.
Whoa, that's a big question.
Right. It's like science, music, and all these emotions are crashing together.
I'm intrigued. It's amazing how much buzz this song is generating. It really seems to tap into something people crave, like a longing for connections that go beyond our ordinary lives.
Absolutely. And speaking of feeling that bigger thing, the radio hosts, DJ Alex and DJ Mia, they were completely blown away by the song. They kept calling it cosmic, like they were floored by how it combines science and emotion. Have you ever come across an idea like this before?
Not exactly like this. I mean, merging quantum physics with love, that's pretty original. What's your first reaction when you hear quantum love? Just a metaphor? Or could there be something more?
It's definitely making me think, but to get it, I think we got to jump right into the song's lyrics.
Good point.
Gina creates these super vivid images of love that totally ignores boundaries. Like there's this one line, "In your eyes, I see the universe spin parallel realms where our love has no end." It's incredible.
Powerful stuff. It gives you that sense of vastness, of being interconnected, which actually aligns with certain ideas in quantum mechanics.
Interesting.
But it's worth pointing out that the song isn't super strict with the science. It plays with it.
Okay, let's break it down then, because the song is packed with imagery like particles, entanglement, even wormholes. Gina took love and launched it into space, basically. But for those of us who aren't, quantum physicists, can you explain what entanglement even is?
All right, so imagine two coins flipped at the exact same time.
Okay, got it.
No matter how far apart they are, if one coin lands on heads, you instantly know the other one is tails. It's like they're linked in this weird way, even across huge distances.
Spooky.
That's kind of what quantum entanglement is. Particles that are connected no matter how much space is between them. Now, when we apply this to love, it's obviously a metaphor.
So it's more about using the idea to spark our imagination rather than a science lesson, which I think is cool. And speaking of sparking imagination, the Munich video is wild. We're talking parallel universes, fractals, hints of reincarnation, the whole multiverse theory. Visually, it's absolutely stunning.
Definitely pushes the boundaries.
And there's this one scene, it's like two people are walking through different timelines, and then they meet in this explosion of light. So symbolic. What are your thoughts on that?
I think those visuals are so powerful for conveying complicated ideas. It goes beyond just explaining, it makes you feel it. That scene you're talking about, it really speaks to that yearning for connection we were discussing, that maybe even across the multiverse we could find each other.
Like love always finds a way, no matter what. And then even the music itself adds another layer. It's got this retro 8-bit sound, but it's super fast, which feels kind of unexpected given the whole cosmic theme.
That contrast is actually quite clever, because it mirrors how science and emotions can come together in unexpected ways. Almost like the music is a reflection of quantum love, where things that seem opposite are actually intertwined.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. So we also have some insight into what Gina was trying to do with this song. They were really drawn to exploring love existing in different universes. Like imagining all the different types of relationships and feelings happening in those other realities.
Yeah, to be clear for everyone listening, Gina is playing with this idea of the multiverse.
Right.
Imagine infinite universes existing, each one just a little bit different.
Right, like alternate realities.
So there might be a version of you out there who made different choices, maybe even found love in a completely different way. That's the multiverse concept.
Exactly. And Gina even said that when love feels hard in our reality, just knowing you might be feeling the same emotions in another dimension, it could make things feel a little easier.
Less lonely, more connected to something bigger.
Exactly. Like you're not alone in going through these intense feelings.
Makes you wonder, though, if you knew another version of you was totally happy and loved somewhere out there, would that make your own struggles here easier to handle?
Now that is a question, and it actually leads us to something DJ Mia brought up, which is that maybe love doesn't have to follow the rules of physics the way we understand them. She even compared it to the universe itself, vast, mysterious, full of things we haven't figured out.
It's true, we definitely don't have all the answers when it comes to the universe, or even love for that matter. But to really unpack what DJ Mia is saying, we need to go deeper. Could there be forces at play that we haven't even discovered yet? Forces as powerful as love? makes you think, doesn't it? That maybe love challenges how we usually see the universe.
Oh, for sure. It's like, are we trying to squeeze love into these little scientific boxes when it's actually way more complicated, like operating on a whole other level?
And that's where art and science get really interesting. Art can explore all these possibilities, push the boundaries further than science sometimes. It helps us question things, see things from new angles.
And quantum love seems to be doing just that. It takes these super complex science concepts and blends them with all this emotion, metaphor. It's like it's saying, hey, let's rethink what we know about love and DC universe.
And it shows just how powerful music is, connecting with us on this deep level. Sometimes words can't quite do what music does. It goes past our logical brains and hits something more, universal.
All right, gotta confess something. After hearing this song, I totally Googled multiverse theory. Anyone else? But seriously, think about how a certain song can take you right back to a moment, Or how it can trigger all these feelings, even give you some profound insight. Music has this crazy ability to connect with our very souls.
You're right. And with quantum love, it seems to be tapping into this, collective desire to connect, to believe that love can go beyond what we think is possible.
Like it's giving us permission to believe in the mystery, to embrace things that might seem impossible. And that's kind of exciting.
It is. It's a powerful message, especially when the world feels so, divided sometimes. Quantum love shows us a reality where love and connection are these basic forces, like built into the universe.
Such a beautiful and inspiring thought. It makes you ask, what if we could experience love across realities? What would that even mean for how we see relationships here?
A question worth pondering, right?
Right.
If we go with this idea of a multiverse, with all these versions of ourselves living different lives, having different relationships, it really challenges how we define love.
Totally. What if the love we feel for someone here is just a tiny piece of a much bigger connection, a connection that stretches across all these dimensions?
Whoa. Now we're talking about the very essence of who we are, the choices we make, how everything is connected. If we are part of this massive web, maybe love is one of the threads that ties us all together.
That's deep. It makes you think, if love really goes beyond time and space, does that mean our connections are even stronger and more meaningful than we realize?
Definitely something to consider. Maybe the love we experience now is just one chapter in a much longer story, a story that plays out over many lifetimes, many realities.
It's like realizing our understanding of love is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. That's the beauty of this whole thing. Quantum love makes us question, makes us use our imagination, makes us dive deeper into the mysteries of who we are, and the mysteries of the universe.
So what does it all mean for you listening right now? Well, it's like an invitation to embrace the mystery, to consider the possibility that love might be way more powerful and far-reaching than we've ever imagined.
It's a call to explore where science, art, and emotions all intersect. Let yourself be amazed by the things we don't yet understand.
It reminds us that even in a world that's so focused on logic and reason, there's still room for magic, for connections, for love that goes beyond what we think is possible.
And that brings us back to something Jeannie mentioned. Even if love is tough right now, just knowing someone somewhere else might be feeling the same things, it can make it less overwhelming, more universal.
Like a cosmic support group, knowing you're not alone in the ups and downs of love. But it also makes you wonder, what if we could actually access those other realities? Could we learn something from those other versions of ourselves?
Now that's a thought. Imagine tapping into the wisdom and experiences of all those other yous who've gone down different paths in love. Would it change your outlook? Would you make different choices?
Mind-blowing. But it reminds us that even with all those possibilities, we still got to make choices in this reality. We can't just rely on our multiverse selves to have it all figured out.
Right. Ultimately, quantum love isn't about escaping our current reality. It's about making it richer, using these incredible concepts to help us understand love, connection, what it means to be human.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, one last thought-provoking question for you. If love could go beyond time and space, how would you change how you approach love and relationships here? Would you be more willing to take risks, to try different kinds of connections? Would you appreciate the love you have even more, knowing it's part of something so much bigger?
Big questions.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer. The cool thing about quantum love is that it encourages each of us to find our own answers, to find our own meaning.
Exactly. So keep those questions in mind as you go about your day. And remember, even in a world that can feel limited, there's always room for wonder, for the possibility of love that goes beyond what we can explain. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into quantum love. Until next time.
Really makes you stop and think, if love could actually exist in multiple realities, what would that mean for us here?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's easy to get lost in the whoa multiverse thing, but the real impact is how it makes us look at the love we experience in this reality.
Exactly. And one thing that stood out to me about the song was how Jine used quantum entanglement as this metaphor.
Yeah.
They weren't literally saying love works like those entangled particles, right?
Right. It was more about capturing that feeling of being deeply connected, that sense that two people are linked in this fundamental way, even when they're apart.
Yeah, and that actually makes me think about that scene in the music video where those two people are walking through different timelines.
Right.
Even though they're physically separated, there's this pull between them, and they eventually meet in this explosion of light.
It's like a visual representation of that invisible connection, love going beyond physical limits. And it connects back to what DJ Mia was saying about love not having to play by the rules of physics.
Right.
It's like love have its own set of rules, its own physics almost. And maybe those rules are more about energy, about something clicking between people, something we haven't quite figured out yet.
Could be. We're still learning so much about the universe, about ourselves. Who's to say we've discovered all the forces at work?
That's both exciting and a little scary,
It is, but I think that's part of what makes this whole exploration so cool. Quantum love isn't about giving us all the answers. It's about asking questions, embracing the mystery, thinking about possibilities that might seem impossible at first.
Yeah, I like that. And maybe by doing that, we open ourselves up to new ways of understanding and experiencing love in our own lives. It's like that last thought Gian shared, even if love is tough in our current reality, that idea that somewhere another version of us might be feeling those same emotions. It can make it feel a little less heavy, more universal.
It's a nice thought, right? To know we're not alone in all of this, that our joys and struggles are being felt across the multiverse.
Like a cosmic support system. And it makes you think, what if we could actually tap into that support? What if we could learn from those other versions of ourselves who have experienced love in different ways?
Now that's an interesting idea. Imagine the wisdom we could gain from those other selves. Maybe they made different choices, faced different obstacles, found love in different ways.
It's mind-blowing. But it also reminds us that even with all those possibilities out there, we still have choices to make in this reality. We can't just expect our multiverse selves to have it all figured out for us.
You got it. In the end, quantum love isn't about running away from this reality. It's about adding to it. It's about using these mind-bending ideas to deepen our understanding of love, connection, what it means to be human.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you to think about. If love really could go beyond time and space, how would that change how you approach love and relationships in this reality? Would you be more open to taking chances, to trying different kinds of connections? Would you appreciate the love you have even more, knowing it's a part of something so much bigger than you?
Big questions.
Yeah.
And there isn't a right or wrong answer. The beauty of quantum love is that it encourages us to find our own answers, our own meanings.
I love that. So keep those questions in mind as you go about your day. And remember, even in a world that can feel so limited, there's always room for wonder, for possibilities, for love that defies explanation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into quantum love. Until next time.